And we are live. This is the Reseller Wakeup, episode 28. This is the 19th of November. It is a Wednesday, and we've been doing a special guest every Wednesday for pretty much since we started, I think. I think the first Wednesday we just, that first week we just kind of blew through it, and we were just trying to figure out what the heck we were doing in the first place. But we've been pretty consistent. Every Wednesday we've got somebody special on, and today we've got one of the Reseller Society founders, Ronnie Hart. He's going to be doing this, telling us about his business. He's been really successful on eBay. He's been ramping up a lot over the last few months, and we're just going to pick his brain and find out what he's doing and how he's doing it. But first, we just want to see if anybody's got anything going on the last couple of days. Anybody find anything cool? Anybody doing any sourcing? Anybody getting any big crazy sales? I know you were saying something, Eric.
Yeah, I got a office supply place that went out of business. Bought all the inventory they had, so that'll be been sorting it and getting it ready for Amazon and stuff.
Nice. Anybody else? Anything?
I got
It's been cold, so I mean nobody's even. I didn't mean to go sourcing yesterday, but I went ahead and went, and I ended up getting some more clothes, but it was 99 cents for all purple tags at Goodwill. So I ended up getting like a Ralph Lauren polo blazer for $1. I got a Chaps Ralph Lauren cashmere blend coat for $1. I got a couple of leather jackets for $1. Bunch of stuff like that. Some nice shirts and pullovers and stuff for $1 a piece. I got a Guitar Hero drum set, like the entire drum set, had the dongle, the sticks, the box, everything for $1. So basically I spent about $40. No, actually they had this stack of toys too. They were $2.99 each. They were listed on Amazon FBA for like $14 a piece. I think I picked up 10 of those. That was like the big money thing that I spent. But that was pretty cool. Kind of glad I stopped at the store yesterday for that. But, sales are steady and normal.
It was good to say good morning to everybody, but I got to get going. I'll try to get back on if I get a chance before the show's over.
Cool, man. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.
All right, later. Hey, thanks for coming on, Ronnie.
All right.
Later.
Hey, see you, Eric.
See ya.
So Amazon's doing pretty good for you, right, Mike? You still killing it on there?
Amazon is my best friend right now. I'm not gonna lie, they are. I was just telling everybody my bolo of the day. I know James said something about post the link in the chat or whatever, but it's basically if you guys can find those children's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shaver things or whatever, that I know they're at Big Lots, but they probably have them at different places. And they sell only merchant fulfilled, but they sell fast. I had like 8 of them, and all of mine are gone within the week. So double your money at least.
Right.
Cool.
And yeah, I went out sourcing yesterday, put up a video yesterday of what I got. It was a small little freaking sourcing thing. Mostly it was going to go to eBay.
Nice. What's up, Sean? How's it going, man?
What's happening?
You made it today. Whoa, dude.
I did.
You
Almost made it the other day, and I'm like, I'm going back to bed.
You must not have fixed your hair this morning.
Not really, Laura.
Yeah.
Can you see some of it? Like,
got a little bedhead going on.
yeah. Yeah, it was not on my list of to-dos this morning. Not yet.
Looks like you got your little area cleaned up a little bit back there, huh?
A lot, man. It's all about 90% organized.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm working on this week is organizing. I got to clean out a space in the garage this afternoon, and I'm just going to be changing everything around in the basement. I got like a bunch of computer stuff that I need to move out and get listed and scrap all the, like just basically tear everything down, scrap the cases, and get like all the motherboards and memory cards and crap, video cards listed. But And then I got a couple of clothing racks I got to set up. Finally get that organized so that they're not just sitting in boxes in my living room. But hopefully once I get that done, then I'll be able to really start picking up the listings back up. I've only been doing like 10 items a day, which has just not been enough. Too focused on Amazon.
Are you really? Cool.
Yeah. I've been getting a couple shipments in a week the last couple weeks.
Sweet.
Picking up. So what's up, Ronnie? How are you been?
Nothing much. Just got back
Ronnie.
from Maine for a few days. Went up there.
So were you
Check.
visiting anybody, or did you just go up there for sourcing? What were you doing?
I just wanted to get away. I just wanted to see. I just wanted to hit different thrift stores, but you know, I did okay. Hit some thrift stores in New Hampshire and north of Boston area on the way back and everything. Did pretty well. We probably came back with like probably $3,000 to $4,000 of inventory.
Nice. Yeah, my wife just spent 2 weeks in Nashua, like about 2 weeks ago. She just got back. So
Okay.
she gets back every year.
Wasn't I don't know if it was the best idea to go up there this time of year, but it's really nice. I've never been up that way, so
Yeah.
I'll go again in the spring though, late spring.
Yeah. I've been thinking about maybe doing like tracking down some estate sales on the kind of away from the Denver area, like up into Nebraska, maybe Wyoming, just to see if I can maybe up in the mountains. You know, seems like there'd be a lot more opportunity for sourcing up there. But here in Denver, man, you can't even go to an estate sale. Their stores are great, but I mean the estate sales are all picked over before they even open on day one. You know, everybody has their buddies and their friends that they call and all that crap. But it'd be interesting to see some of the smaller town thrift stores and how they look. But I haven't really left Denver. I mean, there's just so many sources around here. It's crazy. I haven't had the need yet, but it's gonna be fun. You get any videos or anything up there?
Nah, just
Not in-
one day it was like almost snowing. It was not good. I wasn't, you know, just driving around the roads, checking everything out. Just fun. Just something different.
Yeah. You're going to take a little trip again here in a couple of days, huh?
Yeah, next week we drive over to New York for a few days, and then we're driving down to Florida, and then race back from Florida, and then go to the Dominican Republic for a few weeks, and then come back and go back to New York. It's the end of the year, so I'm busy. And
Yeah, sounds like it.
basically after the next few days, I'm not going to list anything in my eBay store, so we'll see how that goes.
What are you gonna do with your eBay store while you're on vacation for that long?
When I go to Florida, just because it's still early, I'm just going to put it on vacation mode for about 10 days, 9 days, and do it that way. I think I'll be all right. When I go to Dominican Republic, though, just because we're coming back on the 23rd, I'm going to take down everything and then put everything up on the 13th for a 10-day auction at my regular prices, and basically whatever sells, whatever sells. That way, you know, people don't buy stuff for Christmas and thinking, oh, I'm going to get it before Christmas. I'm not going to be back in time. You know, if I'm shipping on the 23rd or 24th, stuff's not going to be available to be people on Christmas. So I don't want to put the store on, you know, vacation and have people buying things thinking, you know, people don't read. You could change your handling time. You could put a banner up. People still don't freaking read.
Oh yeah, I know.
And, you know, it is what it is. I'll just do it that way and then see how it goes. So.
Yeah, I like your idea a lot more than some of the other ideas that I've heard. Especially if you're going to be gone for like 10 days. I mean, there's no reason not to put everything up for auction. I mean, I guess do you know what your fees are like for putting stuff up on auction?
I've done auctions. I've tried auctions in the past. I tried blowing out a bunch of stuff at like $10 and did not have much success at it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, well, the only thing that I've noticed about auctions is, I mean, it's like, what, 25 cents to list plus another like 35 cents or something to do a 10-day. And how many items do you have in your store?
I'll probably have 950 or so, maybe more, but at least 950, I would say. Maybe
Yeah,
between 9 and 950. It depends on what we sell over the next 3 weeks.
what level store do you have?
The middle store.
The what? The middle one? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you might want to look into those fees just to make sure you don't get buried in, like a $300 or $400 hit just to get everything on auction. It might be more worthwhile just to leave it on vacation mode unless you think you're going to sell that much stuff. But that'd be the only thing that I would say. But sounds
Yeah,
like,
I'm not really overly worried about it.
yeah, that's cool. So how long have you been doing eBay anyway? Kind of want to get into like your past
Yeah, I
experiences.
mean, I've been doing eBay off and on for like, I don't know, probably since like 98, 99. But only reselling like the last 3 years. Mainly before that was like buying and selling sports cards, sports memorabilia stuff. Did that a lot. And then when they did that whole PayPal started that whole 1099 thing, if you did over $20,000, I kind of just said, I'm not doing eBay anymore. That's it. And, was away for a little while and then went away, came back, and was looking for a way to make extra money. So, and have sold cars and all kinds of other things, anything with a motor basically on eBay in the past. Worked for a few different dealers, and my job was to post cars on eBay to get rid of them, the trade-ins and stuff like that. So
Right. Yeah, I noticed the name of your YouTube channel is Harts Motors. So I was kind of wondering where that came from and how that segued into your clothing. I mean, you're mostly clothes now, right?
yeah, I mean when we started 3 years ago, we were more Amazon, more I mean we were more like say like GeoDaddy or for instance buying that kind of stuff, electronics, um, juicers and stuff like that. Sometimes parting them out, sometimes not. Um, and we kind of got away from it because we weren't finding this stuff. We weren't coming across a lot of that stuff. So when you go into a thrift store, there's a lot of clothing, and we noticed that we were running across some decent clothing, but we didn't really know what to look for. So I just started studying up, took like men's dress shirts and casual shirts at once, got those under, and then went to, I mean, once you realize that, okay, dress slacks are, they're going to be mostly the same. Suits are going to be mostly the same. If you have a good shirt, most likely they're going to make suits, they're going to make ties, for the most part. So you remember that name when you see it, you get an idea of what it sells for, and then you go out and look for it, and you have a set price in your head. Okay, I can spend $5 for this or 10 for this, and you make your mistakes. I mean, I don't know how many times I bought something that has a freaking stain on it, or biggest thing lately is cracked buttons. It seems like I just forget to look over. I'll look for stains and everything, but the buttons will be cracked.
Yeah, there's this Hugo Boss shirt at one of my Goodwills locally, and every single time I go through the clothing rack, I see it, and I'm like, ooh, Hugo Boss, and then I start looking through it, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the one with the cracked button. Throw it back. And I think I've picked it up about 3 or 4 times now. Yeah, I mean, like with me and clothing, I'm kind of like getting where you're at. Like I'm getting to the point where what you were just saying, like I can go out to I got started in video games and DVDs and Blu-rays, that kind of stuff, and that was what really kept me going for like the first year. And like nerdy stuff, D and Warhammer and Legos and all that. But you just don't find that stuff around because everybody's doing it. It seems like there's just so much clothing out there that it's a steep learning curve, but it doesn't really take that much to learn it. And then it's just a matter of taking good pictures and making sure that the stuff is nice when you send it out. But so you said you've been doing the like hardcore on eBay for a few years. Do you still do anything besides clothing, or have you pretty much completely gone all in on the clothing?
No, I mean when we go around a store, we'll check every single area, and when we came back, we found some printer ink, camera lens, some curlers, a massager, and some other little things that are gonna bring some money. Like the massager is probably $60 to $80 massager. A few months ago, I found another massager that was like $150. So I mean, I kind of be a little more pickier because that's not the stuff I'm looking for. So if it's only going to make me, if I'm going to spend 10 to make 30, I'm probably just going to leave it there and walk away. Like a month ago or 2 months ago, I found it was a Sony High 8 player. I got $200 for that. It's just, just looking around still. I'm not going to leave everything there. But if it's something that makes me good enough money, I'm going to buy it still.
Now, as far as clothing goes, what kind of returns do you look for on your clothing? What are you willing to spend is it the same kind of formula? You're not going to pay $10 for a jacket that you can only sell for 30, or are you more likely to accept a lower margin on clothes just because that's kind of like what you started to specialize in?
Yeah. I've done this before just because I'm always looking at numbers. I love numbers. Average we pay for a piece of clothing, I think, is just under $7, like $6.95 or something. And our average sale is usually most months between $50 and $60 $50 and $60. So, just if we can find something. I mean, there's shirts that we know we'll sell all day long, $30, $35, and I'll pay $5 or $6 to get those shirts, but I know within 30 days they're most likely gone. They're sold. So that's like the bread and butter stuff that we sell. But there's a lot of the bigger things. Like I think last night we sold 4 suits, and I got $100 each out of the suits or more. I think two sold for $100, one sold for $140, and then we sold another one for $150. And then we sold a vintage Sansui radio for $100. So it was a good night.
Wow, that sounds like a good night. I need a couple more nights like that myself. Now, as far as listings, how many listings do you think you can knock out in a day, and what's your process when you're doing this?
Yeah, I mean, mostly we listings we have an area we set up, and it's basically my wife will take photographs of all the sport jackets first, or dress shirts or casual shirts or so on and so forth. So when I go to put them on eBay, I'll have maybe a stack of 20 or 30 dress shirts. Now, they might be 5 or 6 Brooks Brothers or something, other kind of shirts, whatever they may be. So when I go through them, I'm just going through them real quick. Change the pictures, change the size, the color, but most likely I'm in the same category, so I can keep the same template, and I can probably list them within 4 or 5 minutes with, messing around with the pictures and changing them real quick if I'm focused. I mean, I've put up probably 70 pictures in an 8-hour day, but you need to be focused. You need to turn not PayPal, Facebook off, and not, turn your phone off, because you turn it off on the computer and then your phone's down and you got messages. It's a pain in the ass. But the whole thing is just being focused and just going at it and doing it. Put your measurements in there real quick. I mean that's mainly how I do things. I'll do things in groups of shirts or something like that, and try to, make sure they're all the same brand. So when I'm going in there, it's just repetitively, but you just change a few different things and you go to the next shirt.
Right. Now, do you have an HTML template? Do you just use text? Do you keep it simple? How do you do your template?
Very simple. Okay. My thing is, it's very simple. It's just straight to the point. No, I don't do the return part of it. I don't do the international shipping part. I mean, because it's already basically that. People are going to find it if they want it. I mean, it comes up on the screen. If you're international seller, it's going to come up, shirt $16.25 to ship. It's going to say your return policies 14 days or whatever it is. People add, oh, you have 4 days to pay. I mean, technically, you have no control over how long it takes them to pay. I mean, PayPal sets that up at 2 days. You can do your thing, but technically, the way eBay does it, people will technically have 6 days that they can pay for something if they want to. I mean, they're 2 days before you can open the dispute, and then 4 days before you can actually close the dispute. So if somebody wants to, they can wait to that 6th day if they want to buy that item from you. You just have to wait on the payment. There's no reason to put all that junk in there and just clog up the listing.
Yeah, I agree. I keep my listings very, very simple. I mean, there isn't even a big difference between, say, a video game listing for me and a clothing listing. The only difference is there's that one little paragraph or whatever, the little bullet points: chest measurement, sleeve measurement, waist measurement, length, and shoulders, or whatever measurements I need. Now, when you're doing your measurements, do you have your wife measure the stuff as she's taking the pictures, or do you just have her take the pictures and then while you're listening, you just measure the stuff right there? How do you do that?
I just measure it as I get it. That way I can see if there's any issues to it or anything like that. That way I'm looking over it anyway. Even though my wife looks over the clothing, sometimes I'll spot something, or sometimes she'll spot something even before we get it listed. Like the other day, I bought a stupid tie, and it was spelled wrong, and I never even caught it. It was a Dolce & Gabbana tie, and they spelled it wrong, and I didn't. I just
Caesar
looked at
just brought that up, by the way.
You're in the store, and you're just grabbing things, and you look at it real quick. Okay, there's no stains on the front. You flip it over. Oh, okay. And you just put it. I'm not going to spend too much time, and maybe that's my own fault. Maybe, too many returns I got to drop off at the store, but here and there. But I'm not going to waste, 20 minutes trying to figure out a tie. I'm not going to, I try to do all my learning up front. So, especially with pricing of what I price stuff at, so when I go to a store, I'm not there sitting on a phone, for 5 minutes in the aisle trying to go, okay, what can I get for that? There's certain things I'll do that with. If I see a massager, I'll definitely look it up, but it just all goes back to the thing,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, as far as the looking stuff up as you go, I'm still in the stage where I'm double checking a lot of stuff, but I mean, it doesn't take that long to learn the brands, guys. I mean, I've glanced at a couple of cheat sheets, but I don't take a cheat sheet with me, and when I'm out there, I know pretty well now, like, if it's Brooks Brothers, grab it, I'm still probably leaving a bunch of stuff on the rack, but I mean, when you're filling up a cart every time you go out, it's okay to leave stuff behind.
Ronnie, I got a question for you. Is there a brand now that recently that in the past you'd pick up, no questions asked, now you kind of look at, should I pick it up or not?
There's a few different brands that seem to go in and out. Like, I'll have them listed for a long time, and I just don't like picking them up because we'll have a bunch that are listed and they're just not selling what they used to be. One was, what the hell was it? English Laundry. Chad found one, and I was just like, oh, I can't sell those shirts to save my life. But then when I checked what they've been selling for recently, they were actually selling at a pretty decent price. Maybe I just picked up the wrong ones. Maybe I didn't pick up the right ones. But, just goes to show that, things come and go all the time in style and fashion.
You said his name more than 3 times. He's here.
Who?
Chad.
Yeah, I sold one of those English laundries. I think it was just on the show on Monday.
Chad's like that Beetlejuice. You say his name 3 times and he appears.
Wow. I just woke up.
Oh, God.
You see? You say his name 3 times. Chad. Poof. He appears.
What happened? Are you...
Already, man. You weren't even fully on yet. We were getting on yet.
I know, right? We didn't even give him a chance to completely finish logging in. As far as
what are you going out for coach a football game or something? Man, you look like a coach or something.
Wearing a jacket and all that.
I'm wearing a jacket because it's cold in Florida.
Uh-oh.
Florida, come up here.
You William?
Yeah, it's kind of cold here, but I like the cold in Colorado. It doesn't feel that cold. I got a couple more questions for you, Ronnie. Now, you mentioned you did a lot on Amazon before. What were you selling on Amazon when you were doing it? Are you still doing much on Amazon? Are you just kind of like using that the same way a lot of the other thrift store sourcers and eBayers are doing?
Yeah. What we used to sell on Amazon was a lot of books, actually. That's how we got started. We actually had one of those little scanner things and freaking going around getting booked. But what I realized that a lot of people were freaking hitting up those things. When you go into a store and you see 3 other freaking people with, like, those tomato boxes and they're putting fucking books in there, you realize real fast that you better find another niche because it's not worth the time or effort to go through a whole rack of books and come out with one book and be like, okay, there got to be something better than this. You know, I'd go to the Goodwill outlet there in Boston and used to go through the books there because they weren't unsorted and find like some autograph books and stuff like that. But I quickly grew out of it. I wanted more from it. I'm not that much of a long tail person. I mean, some of those books took freaking several months to sell, if not a year. And I probably still got a bunch kicking around. I no longer do Amazon. I just, I ran into some problems and, I wind up getting suspended and that was the end of that,
Yeah. So you're not doing much of anything on Amazon anymore?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like for me, a lot of the times when I'm out there sourcing, the only reason I started doing Amazon is because I find so much new stuff, and you listen to like Jeff Davidson talk about puzzles and new board games and things like that, and I find them every single time I go out. Like I fill up a box every week, and just brand new stuff that I can send to Amazon, and there's some used stuff that you can send too, but I guess when you're doing huge numbers on clothing, that kind of takes up enough of your time, and there's a good enough return that you don't really have to worry about all that. But now you recently moved into a warehouse. How long did it take you? At what point did you start to realize, man, I need to get all this stuff out of my house. I need to get a space. I finally am making enough money where I can do it. I think I can do it. What was your process on that?
Well, back in May, we have a small like 2-bedroom condo, and back in May, her mother, my wife's mother, was coming to stay with us for 3 months, and we realized that we didn't have anywhere for her because that spare bedroom and part of the living room and dining room area I made into my eBay area. So we had to get stuff out. We started looking for a few things, but prices were just a lot of money. They would rents here in Massachusetts are pretty high, especially in this area where we are. It's probably over like $1.50 a square foot, maybe or so. So we weren't finding anything that really fit our needs. We'd find a lot of office space, like what's his name, like Holland Harvey has or Rakin has, and I just felt like that space was too small. It wasn't really what we wanted, and we'd have to move, in a year. We'd outgrow it. So it took a good, 4 or 5 months to find the spot that we wanted. And the sad part is the spot that we originally wanted is about 1,000 square feet. The lady wanted, 1,200 or something. We offered her 800. Her spot, she's still looking for someone to rent that spot, and she could have had us in there. So good luck to her. But we came across this place. It was in Craigslist a few different times. It was advertised. And I just called the guy, and he was looking for someone that wasn't car-related or wasn't landscape-related, didn't want any big vehicles being around, didn't want it to be a contractor. So it just happened to be the right person at the right time, and we got it. And, we have about 1,100 square feet, and it works good for us. And it's going to be some space that we can grow into. We have a lot of room. I think we could probably do, 3,000 items out of here easily.
Really? And that would be 2,500 to 3,000 items listed?
Yeah.
Okay. And
hey, Ron, I have a question. You're talking about right there. You kind of expanded now. Where do you see your business in the future? Like, are you planning on hiring people? What kind of things are you looking at?
I'm not looking to hire anybody. Me and my wife, we do this. We don't really put a lot of I mean, I should say we don't really go like crazy all out into this. We take a lot of time. We goof off a lot. I don't even focus as much as I should probably. So there's a lot of room for us to build this before we actually get to the point where we would need somebody. I think we can get to probably this year. We'll probably do about 110,000. I think somewhere in that gross sales. I think we could easily get to like 250 before we need to hire anybody. And at that point, I'm not sure if I want to hire anybody. I think I just want to maintain it at that space and just see how it goes. I think after we get back from our vacations, we're just going to go all out next year. I mean, we're still going away next year. I think we're going to Italy at one point and Bahamas. So I'm still going to go away, but I think when the time that we're not helping anybody at their restaurants or anything like that, I think we have a lot more effort, because I've helped my friend with his restaurant for months on end for 30 to 50 hours a week, and I'm still doing this, and I think there's a lot of room that I could actually, a lot of extra time I could spend on this and build this up.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean there. I mean, I always feel like I could streamline things better. I could organize better, obviously. I could do everything a lot better. And, I mean, it's kind of hard sometimes. But, I mean, I feel like moving into the warehouse and getting your workspace out of your house and having enough room to actually move around and change, organize, do shelving, stuff like that, that's got to be a big help now. I mean, how much did moving everything out of your house and moving your whole operation into a separate place actually affect your business? Like, was it an overnight thing? Did it come pretty quick? Is it something you just kind of think is going to slowly grow, or did it really, really, boom, just make you start to batten down the hatches and get rolling?
I mean, we basically we were trying to break like $9,000 or get the $10,000 for a while, and we would get to like 7,000, 8,000 consistently, and it was becoming a pain in the ass. I just wanted to know how to get, how to increase. So since when we first got here, our first month was 95, then last month was almost 11. It was like 10,875 or something. So this month we're on pace for like 11,500. So as long as it's growing, if it grows at a 5 to 10% rate, if I can get it to grow that percentage every month, I'm happy. I mean, if you did 5% a year, your business would grow 60% in 1 year. So, people might want to double, triple. Oh, I did 1,000 last month. I want to do 3,000 this month. If you just take it, I think, in small steps and not try to go all out, burn yourself out, just build it up little by little, and you're going to see the end result pretty quickly.
Right. Yeah, I've got a couple leads on some space myself. I still can't decide. I've been considering moving into like a storage unit or something like that. Did you look into anything like that, like maybe a climate-controlled storage unit?
We had a storage, 8x10 storage unit from May to September when we moved in here. Because we had to get it out of the house because of the mother-in-law coming. So.
Right. Now, how much did that affect your sales at all? Did it make things like a little easier to get things organized?
I absolutely hated it. I thought it was a big pain in the ass.
Yeah, just because you had to get up and go and grab all your stuff that you needed, like drop off your things that you just had listed, bring some more things that you need to get listed, ship stuff out from the storage unit. And have like Wi-Fi or anything there, or was it all just?
We just stored stuff there. We had everything organized. I mean, we did pretty well organizing things, but it was outdoor storage too because there's no. The inside storage units are not big enough. They're all like I don't know the word. They're just small. They're like 6x8 or 4x8, and it's like we would need 4 of those damn things. So
all right.
Yeah, our storage was like 8x10. Outside was like 150.
Jeez.
Inside, if just a 4x8 inside, I think was like 100 or close to it.
Jeez.
And they're all full. It's pretty hard to even get space in a lot of these places. We were trying to get a 10x20 in the beginning, but they didn't have any available.
Wow. And so you didn't worry too much about your clothing being exposed to the elements or whatever? I know it can be pretty humid and on the East Coast and real cold winters and.
Yeah, I mean, it was only 4 months. We did find like a moth did make love to a few of our pieces of clothing. So a few pieces got donated, but it really wasn't that big of an issue. I mean, you can get off eBay like those bags that you get from the dry cleaners and protect your clothing. We got it. I never did it. You know, it was kind of like, like, because I moved everything there, and then we got them after, and I just was like, how the hell am I going to notice what is what? You know, we have like 100 sport coats that we sell on eBay at any given time, so it was kind of like,
I'm surprised you haven't set up like a dry cleaner rack in your little warehouse there. You know, you can just have a push button and bring it around, whichever number it is that you're selling. That
look for dry cleaners that's out of business or buy one. There you go.
Yeah. Speaking of that, as far as your inventory, once you get up to like 900 clothing items, are you one of those guys that just knows exactly where everything is? Do you have a system? How do you organize everything once it's listed?
Yeah, I mean, we have racks for our men's clothes, for like sport jackets and coats, and they're basically by brands for the most part, like Brooks Brothers, Canali, whatever. Will have their own little section, so I know where they are. And then there's a bunch of random ones we'll keep on one side, so you know, okay, that's where those are. But it's easy to get to. It takes me a minute or two to get to it. All our dress shirts, which are like more bread and butter thing, they're in totes. They're already bagged up. They're in totes. So, and on the outside of the totes, we have the names of like the brands. So if we sell Ralph Lauren, we go to that tote, take it down, and just find that shirt real quick. So it's not like a huge time loss, you know. Basically, you know where everything is pretty quickly.
Right. Yeah, and as far as returns, they're the biggest. Like all the horror stories you hear about people that get really involved in clothing. People do a lot of clothing. They try to get into it. They try to break into it, and they just get tons of returns. Now, do you get a lot of returns? Did you get a lot of returns before, and then kind of work through it till you got to the point where you figured it out? How do the returns really affect your business?
Returns are always going to happen. I mean, people bitch and moan and complain about getting returns, and guess what? They happen. People, if something you could have freaking. I put in list the measurements in there, and people still return the shit. I mean, things don't fit right, and what we sell, a majority of what we sell is, you know, $50 to $60 things most of the time. I mean, a lot of the returns that we have are on the higher dollar items. I think when people buy them, they want them to fit right, and if they don't, they're going to return them, and they're not going to spend $200 for a suit. And you know, I think last month we had 7 returns for $900. This month it's probably shit. We've had a bunch of returns this month, but we're like I told the wife, we're selling more. You know, we're selling probably 200, say 25 items a month. If we got, you know, 8 to 10 returns, I would think that's normal with clothing. You know, you're looking at, I don't know, 3-4% then. You know, I would really think that if you went and contacted all these clothes sellers, you would realize that that's probably what it is most of the time.
Now, when you get a return, it's not like you're getting it back and throwing it in the trash, right? I mean, you get to resell the item again, so it's not that big.
A lot of the time, like, we just listed a Versace suit yesterday, and it sold within a few hours of listing it. Burberry jacket, and these are all expensive things. I mean, it didn't fit one person. We list it, and it sells like sometimes within minutes, and it's kind of funny how that works out.
Yeah, one thing, do you do best offers, or do you just take your price on, do a fixed price on everything, no best offers?
I do a fixed price. I hate best offers. It's just I don't think it's you get too many. I mean, the way eBay sets it up now, I mean, people message you all the time with offers, and sometimes I take them, sometimes, and eBay has that little thing now where you can actually send an offer back to somebody without even having best offer on the messages. So, you don't. I mean, it depends on your business model and how you. Everything's going to be different. Everything's going to work for different people. It depends on what you sell. I don't like it. I've tried it several times. I just don't like it. I'll put it on some things if I don't really have a. Like we found some um, sport coats that belong to Vince McMahon. There's no way to have any particular value of that item. So I put it up for a higher price and kind of just put best offer because there was no way to really know what that would sell for or what it should sell for. A majority of the time I put something up for what I feel is a comfortable price or what price that we like selling it in, and then we run sales anywhere between 5 and 20% off. And sometimes the stuff sells when it's on sale, sometimes it doesn't. But I get good prices for my clothing, good return on my investment, and I just go about it that way.
That's one of the other things that I wanted to talk to you about. We've been talking about this a lot lately on just some of the other episodes about trying to brand, like making a brand for yourself, like through eBay somehow, like when you're working with clothes. Now, do you feel like you've got kind of your own brand? Do you have a lot of repeat customers? Do you do any other kind of marketing, like with Pinterest or Instagram or anything? Do you have a website, or do you just kind of put stuff up on eBay and what sells sells?
I've noticed that we're starting to get a lot more repeat buyers. A lot of buyers are buying more than one thing from us at a time. I don't know if that's just because we have a lot of things in our store. So somebody will buy something, they were like, oh, I like that too, or this or that, So I'm going to probably, now when I get more time, and that's coming up here when I come back, it's basically going to be, I'm going to try a few different things to market stuff. I'm going to try Instagram, maybe account for the eBay store, and maybe try even a Facebook for the store. Give out business cards where every time we ship something, and kind of see for a little while how many people actually like the page, without doing any advertising or anything. See how many people come back, how many people, I don't know, I'm just going to try something different. I mean, we're going to open an Etsy store. We're going to try that out. I tried Bonanza, but did not like Bonanza whatsoever, really, for the most part.
Yeah, I haven't tried Bonanza yet either, but I know some of the other people on the panel have messed around with it and gotten sales on it. It seems everybody says that it's easy, blah blah blah, but I don't think it's just another website that I have to check every day. Even if it's an extra 2 seconds, I would forget if I went a week without getting a sale, and then I'd get a sale, and then I'd blow it off, and it would just be like not worth the effort to me. But one of the things that I've been, or one of the types of guests that I've been looking for is somebody who's actually established their own vintage brand, or like their own. I don't know if you've done any research yourself on some of the other big clothing sellers on eBay, kind of what they've done, but it seems like a lot of the really successful people, they stick to certain styles, certain brands, and they do something a little different with their pictures or whatever. Is there anything that you feel like you do that kind of distinguishes yourself or your store from everybody else that's doing it?
I just try to have good pictures. I think that's really the only thing I do different maybe than other people. Put a lot of pictures. I don't know how people can sell something with one picture. I don't know how many times I've come across a listing, and there's some eBay people out there that have several thousand listings and they got one fucking picture.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works for them, and I don't know how they sell anything or what their returns are, because That just seems crazy to me. Or, you know, just...
Yeah. Well, like for me personally, I've still got stuff listed from months ago, you know, and it just never sold. And I go back and I check pictures every once in a while, and I've actually gotten better about improving pictures before I relist them. And one of the reasons why I do that is because it re-indexes everything, so that it goes back into search and all that. And I mean, I was doing low-hanging fruit for so long, stuff that you just didn't need pictures for. Like a DVD, you don't need a good picture of a DVD. You know, you can't take a picture of the scratches. It's just impossible to get them all to come out right. But they either look horrible or you can't see them at all. But just a quick snap of the case, a quick snap of the DVD and the inserts, and that was it. And then the way that translated to some of the other stuff that I was getting into, it didn't work, you know. So I've been improving that a lot. And now, as far as your lighting setup, do you have like a real professional lighting setup? Did you spend a lot of money on it? Do you have a really expensive camera? How do you make sure that you get the best pictures? I mean, is it just do you think it's your equipment, or just do you really need expensive equipment to make good enough pictures to sell stuff like clothing?
You don't need a high-end camera. We use our Samsung, I don't know what it is, 4S or something like that. My wife uses a photo setup that she got off eBay for like $50. You know, it has the 2 umbrellas, and it's just having light, I think, and natural light. I mean, not natural light, but just having good enough light, taking good enough pictures, is what matters. You don't need that. I mean, we bought a stupid freaking $600 camera, and guess what? We don't even use it. I wrote it off.
Same problem.
I mean, I use it when I go to the Dominican Republic or something like that, but I mean, nowadays the cameras and the phones are just as good as good enough to take pictures with. And they're even more, you know, it's easy to take pictures with a phone than it is a other camera and setting it up and doing all that shit.
Yeah, well, the thing about the digital SLR cameras is they're less user-friendly. They're built for somebody that knows how to do all the settings and who wants to program it themselves to get everything perfect. But with the cheaper cameras, or like the more high-end point-and-shoots, which is what I would recommend, or the better high-end cell phones now, what they're doing is they're just doing all the programming for you. I mean, it's all digital. All those little tricks that photographers use to take great pictures are programmed in, so it's really pretty simple as long as you have the lighting, like you said. I think that's the most important part too, is just getting your lighting in the first place, and then learning how to set your lighting up so that it kind of maximizes everything and really makes your item stand out against the background. Now, do you just use a flat white background for all your stuff, or do you do anything interesting like with to make your listing stand out?
No, we have two backgrounds, one white, one black. You know, and just whatever works out. You know, whatever looks like it's gonna do better on. You know, my wife does the photograph. I absolutely hate doing photographs. I mean, you know, we sold something last night that I can tell I took a freaking picture of about a year ago, and I was like, okay, I could just see the picture before we changed, and I know that was one of my pictures.
Oh, hey, real quick. Mid-top says, and some of you guys could probably remember this. I took 35mm camera, then scanned the pics. Remember when eBay first started?
Yeah.
I remember doing that. Yeah.
Back in those days, I was selling. Yeah, back in those days, I was selling like video game stuff, so I just had to print screen, copy and paste, upload, and that was it.
Remember when I bought a first digital camera? It was like a 2.1 megapixel Hewlett Packard freaking camera.
Oh yeah.
Speed up the process.
Back then, you could sell a freaking toothpick, though.
Right.
Baseball cards.
So,
yeah, but then
exactly.
You can scan those in on your scanner.
Oh yeah, scanners worked really good back in those days for.
Yeah.
Now you see a scanner at every damn freaking thrift store.
What's that?
Ronnie, I got a question for you. When you go to the Dominican Republic, are you going to do any sourcing down there?
There is no sourcing down there.
Huh?
There's no thrift stores or anything like that. Last year we went to the Haiti border, and there's supposedly a flea market there.
Yeah, that
and
big bazaar.
A lot of it's like goods that they sell that get dropped off by the relief agencies and stuff like that. But we were with her father-in-law, and he wanted no part of stopping there. You know, it looked very chaotic, and he just was like, "Okay, we're going now. We're heading back." You know, because it was a long drive, even though it was only, I don't know, 150, 200 miles. It take every bit of like 7-8 hours to drive there. You're in the mountains in one area, and there's damn cows wandering in the middle of the road. And
yeah, anytime you're worried about a group of armed men driving down the street in a Jeep,
there's all kinds of different things you have to worry about. You know, police checkpoints everywhere just due to they're trying to. A lot of Haitianos are coming across into Dominican Republic, so they're trying to stop those people from advancing into the city. So,
right. Yeah. So you were talking about when you were looking for your warehouse, and you said you found it on Craigslist. Were there any other places that you were looking to try and find the space, or did you just kind of just check Craigslist every now and then until you saw something you liked?
No, I you know, a lot of leads came from actually just driving around like industrial areas, because a lot of people, they still don't do a lot of people are still old-fashioned way. They'll still advertise in the newspaper, or they'll just put a sign up for rent with a number, and it'll sit there for a few months. I mean, we called a bunch of places, but a lot of places just didn't fit what we were doing. They were either automotive businesses before, or one place was like a church or something. It just was like, it was upstairs to a, you know, I'm not looking to lug all freaking kinds of shit up a flight of stairs, and a narrow flight of stairs at that. And I was just thinking, like, it just didn't fit like where we are now. If I wanted to flip a vehicle or two, I actually have the space. I have a parking spot out front if I wanted to. I could put it in here if I wanted to. You know, we have bigger. We could do bigger things too. We could buy furniture if we wanted to, or whatever. We have the space now to do it.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed in my area, there's a lot of really nice, like, older vintage furniture that is out there, and it's just everywhere, and it's really, really cheap. And honestly, the way that Goodwill works it around here, if you spend like $250, you get half off of your next order. And I mean, if I had a space where I could get into some furniture, I'd be able to. I'd be getting furniture all the time probably, just because I'd be able to get that half off every single time I walk in the store. And so that's one of the things that I've looked at. So you've got like a garage door and everything. Is it like a loading dock, or how does your how does that
No,
work?
it's not a loading dock. It's just it's a huge, one of those huge rolling, you know, 12-foot doors or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, the best place that I've been able to find is actually in a basement of a commercial building, and it's a friend of mine that owns it. I've been going to his store for a long time, but shopping with him. But he's got this old fishing shop in the basement where basically had to kick somebody out, and he was 6 months behind on rent, so he let him keep all his inventory, and now he needs a way to get rid of all that, and I told him that it would be perfect for me, but I keep thinking going up and down stairs, that's not going to work, especially if I want to. I mean, half the reason to get a bigger space is so that you can start dealing with bigger items, but I don't know. Now, do you have any questions for the panel? I mean, we got a full panel today. Anything that you were wondering about? Maybe, I mean, you watch the show every once in a while. You see what we talk about. Anything that you wanted to ask?
These guys?
Yeah.
Nah.
Ryan's like, I don't need an advice.
Please,
Guys,
yeah.
what do you think?
You know, I'm going to meet up with Chad. I'm going to show Chad actually how to do better on eBay.
Oh my God! Come on, dude.
Or how to do something at all.
Can't get anything worse, so why not?
I like
So
picking
everybody
on
else on the
that,
panel,
but
do any of you
everything
guys
else.
have any questions for Ronnie while we got him? Crickets. Man, did I do that good of a job? Just leave
There was
every
one
question
question
on
Y'all
about
covered pretty much
getting
everything.
everything answered here.
I do have a statement.
I don't know if I want to hear this, but go ahead.
Remember this Apple keyboard that I was pulling out my haul? I hadn't checked it out or anything, and I guess it was believed that they don't do very well. I guess they do okay. I can't remember who said that they aren't worth anything, but they're about.
I don't think anybody said they weren't worth anything. I think I said that I wasn't
Ronnie's
sure, but
smirking. It must have
Apple
been Ronnie.
stuff can do okay. What did you say, Sean?
No, I just think it's hilarious. Too.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Ronnie's smirking, and Chad has that accusation in his voice.
He keeps on holding up the
It was
keyboard
Ronnie.
for the last like 30 minutes now.
I didn't know anything about it. I hadn't looked it up or anything else. And no.
Who told you that it wasn't worth anything?
I guess they'll do okay
Uh,
if it works. And I don't know how to test it. Can you test an Apple keyboard in a Windows computer? It's got USB.
Try it. It can't hurt to plug it in. I would assume it would work.
Well, I don't want to blow up the
Computer up.
might fry your computer. You never know.
I know. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Just test it out.
I mean, just tell me to do it, and I will do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Just list it.
There you go.
That.
I would always
Get rid of an Apple keyboard.
I always try to test computer components somehow. I don't go too in depth with them, but yeah.
And Ronnie, I do. There was a question in the chat in regards to you can elaborate or explain variable listings. What was the exact question Matt had asked? Danica?
Could you explain variable listings? I think it said.
Yeah, he just wanted Ronnie to explain the variable listings.
What a variable listing.
Do you even do variable listings? Like, okay, so
Apparently not. He doesn't know what it is.
okay, so let's say you've got a shirt, and you've got 10 of these shirts, and you've got 2 small, 2 medium, 2 large, 2 extra large, 2 double extra large, and you just want to do one listing. That's a variable listing.
Okay, I don't do that.
You do separate individual listings. Like if you had 2 suits, same identical colors.
Yeah, I mean
blends.
the thing with that is you're doing that if you're getting new clothing. You're not doing that with used clothing. If you found like a bunch of new clothing, or if you were doing new clothing, you would do that. I'd be doing that with used clothing though.
Yeah,
I feel like I found 10 Old Navy shirts in package.
Oh, now,
Drop the Old Navy.
I would lock those all together, correct?
I bought a bunch of the exact same Taylor Swift shirt, and there were like 40 of them, and they were all different sizes. But it was the exact same shirt, different sizes, and you can put it in by size.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if I bought 10 Old Navy shirts, I'd just send them to Chad and let him deal with them.
Are we really going to go there?
Hey, man. It was dropped a minute ago.
There was another question for Ronnie about how keywords, I think, when you're listing a shirt, I think they asked about a Bugatti Uomo shirt, but they were wondering about the keywords that you use when you're listing a shirt, how you choose your keywords, I assume.
Ronnie has one keyword, and it starts with an F.
I mean,
I'd like to stress to the panel today that this is not me crashing and burning the network.
I mean, basically, you put, if it's a long sleeve shirt, long sleeve, short sleeve, put in color, put in, if it's made somewhere specific, like Italy, you want to include that. If it's striped or plaid or something, or maybe it's wool, you want to include that. Like a Bugatti Uomo shirt or Robert Graham, they might have the flip cuffs. You'd want to include that, or include, if it had French cuffs, include that it had French cuffs.
Now,
when you get a new item, what's the first thing you look at? What are your first 3 words? What determines what's going to be the key keywords? You know,
It's the brand usually.
Brand.
Brand, men's. I start off almost everything the same way. It'll be like Brooks Brothers men's long sleeve shirt, large, blue check, and that's it. I don't try to do anything particular different than anybody else. I just look at it easily enough to I'm not gonna keyword spam things and throw in a bunch of different things that don't have any nothing to do with the shirt. Like I see some people, and it's
So you don't use words like hipster and kitsch and like.
I mean, it depends on what it is, though. I mean, like if you're selling now maybe a vintage sport coat that you could see somebody wearing, maybe a hipster, you would include that. Like you could include before the Mad Men, but that's keyword spamming technically now, so you don't want to include that. But there's other terms that you could use, to get that. But I mean, how many people really search for hipster sport coat? I want to really know who puts that in there, because I want to meet that person.
Hipsters do.
Yeah,
I would put in
Because
like,
they're so into that specific, look or whatever.
yeah, I look for my 70s stuff. I'll look like 70s disco clothes or 70s, wing collar. Those type of keywords really help, if you're listing something like that, because what we know, like Saturday Night Fever shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, those keywords can really help your listing when it comes to, because that's what I use when I'm looking for my old 70s stuff. I'll use keywords like that really doesn't have anything to do with the shirt. It's just the way society has labeled that type of stuff.
Right. Yeah. I'll use hipster. I'll use I like rockabilly, stuff like that. Like I've got a video game shirt.
What about ironing your clothes before you take pictures of them? Do you have a really wrinkled shirt? Do you iron them at all or steam them?
Steam them. We have a steamer. Saves a lot of time. It's a Sunbeam steamer. I don't remember the specific number. We got it. It was like $70, and we've had it for like 2 years, and it's never had an issue with it.
Yeah.
Steaming is so much faster than ironing.
Oh yes, I got a pretty good steamer.
Here's a question, Ronnie. I do have a serious question here. When it comes to like blazers and sports coats, or anything that says dry cleaning on it, and I'm probably an idiot for asking, but I don't know. I don't know what the process of dry cleaning is. We have it done, but I don't know exactly what they do. But if you have a sports coat or a blazer or say a cashmere tie or something like that, is that okay to steam?
Dry clean is usually no water, isn't it? If I'm right.
It's chemicals. Yeah.
Dry cleaning, you don't clean with water, if I'm specifically right. So if you're steaming, you might, I don't know. Because a lot of the jackets, if we feel that we need to clean them, or if they're too, like if we get a jacket or something like that and it's too wrinkled or something like that, we don't even mess with it. We just drop it off at the cleaners. It's like $4 or $5, our cleaners. We do a lot of stuff into it. We'll do shirts for $2 for us. Certain things are a little higher. You start getting into like full-length jackets and stuff like that. But I just drop stuff off. It's easier than me trying to mess with it. And a lot of times, a lot of our stuff, we get so much for it, it's just built into the cost.
So does anybody know the answers, like say silk ties or something like that? You know how they can get wrinkled if they set with a crease in it or something? Because a lot of people do complain about getting creases. How do you get the creases and stuff out of like silk ties? Huh?
In a tie, you would iron it.
You would just
Yeah.
iron the tie.
You have a cloth, an ironing cloth that you can put over the tie, so the iron never touches the tie itself.
Wet towel, yeah. Use a wet towel over the over the tie, and then iron that.
Don't use water with silk because you'll get spots.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, silk. I mean, if you touch silk with a damp cloth, you're gonna have a spot that you cannot get rid of.
Ever. Yeah.
Ever. You cannot let water touch silk.
Oh.
No steaming. Yeah. And dry cleaning, they use chemicals to clean the product. They use no water.
So these silk Tommy Bahama shirts, stuff like that, you should not put in your washer.
No.
There's some that say washable silk, and then there's others that dry clean only.
Okay.
It'll shrink.
No, I do have another question for you, Ronnie, that I was just thinking about. We didn't really go over where you source. I mean, we've touched on it, but didn't get real specific. Do you just source from thrift stores, or do you have any other places that you go to, like, that you kind of tend to have good luck with, maybe some unconventional places?
Most of my thrifting is from thrift stores, but in the summer and stuff like that, we will go to yard sales. I love estate sales. I've had great luck with estate sales. I'll kind of go to the websites of the different companies that are around us and search through their pictures and kind of get an idea of what they're going to sell. Research stuff before I even go. That way, if I know if it's worth something, what I can pay up to. You know, there was one thing about a phone that I found, and we were looking at pictures that looked interesting. I researched it, got enough information about it, realized, okay, I can get, at least $200 for it. So what am I gonna pay? And then we got there, and my wife found it in the basement. It was $18, and we wind up selling that phone in a day for $425.
Jeez. So how often do you get deals like that? I mean, is it, we've all been talking about home runs and stuff since the meet and greet last week, I think is when we were covering that, and home runs versus bread and butter. I mean, you talked about your average sales and your average items, but what about like those real crazy ones like that? I mean, the ones where you make a ton of money.
I mean, I love those, but I mean, a lot of times for those items, we just got to spend more money to get them. Like we sold a Wilson Geiger leather jacket. It was like $430 or something, but we paid $100 for that jacket. So, a lot of times for those items, you're paying a lot more for it. I mean, sometimes you do run across them and they're cheaper. We ran across like a Laurel Panani men's cashmere blazer. I got $500 for it. I think I paid like $10 or $12. So, we went to a estate sale not too long ago, spent $200 and something, and we've already sold $1,500 of stuff from that estate sale, and still got another $1,000 of clothing from that estate sale we need to sell. Everybody's definition of a home run is going to be a little different. If you find something for $1 and you sell it for $50, that I would consider that a home run. But the same part, if you pay $10 for something you sell for $50, that's, to me, that wouldn't, you know what I mean? I mean, where my average sale is average $50, $60, almost anything over $100 has to be a home run to me, or more than that. And it depends on what I got into it.
Right. So you're not
everybody's going to be a little bit different. So you can't really, you just be happy with your own, what you're doing, and I try to worry about what everybody else is doing. You're paying your bills, and you're happy with your return on your investment, and so be it.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Ronnie, where's your cutoff? Like, would you buy a $1, $2 item to sell it for $10, or do you?
I try not to. I try not to. I try to get at least $30 for something. There's times where I buy things cheaper, but I try not to. Like we bought a bunch of DVD box sets for $1, and I sold one for like $17. And I'm like, but it made money. But it's like, I mean, it's real easy to take pictures of too. I mean, it doesn't take much time. I mean, if everything's there, take a picture of the front, take a picture of the back, open it up, take a picture, and it's real easy to list. It's not like takes a while. So
Right.
it all depends. I mean, we've tried to get into that range where our bread and butter things are $30. That's kind of where the cutoff is. Other than that, I don't feel like it's too much work.
Right. Now, if you guys are just coming on and starting to watch, we got right into it today. I mean, the interview was pretty fast and furious, and we covered a lot of ground. We got a lot of great information. I encourage you, if you're just catching it now or you kind of got into it in the middle of the show or whatever, after we go offline, go back and, I mean, you got to watch this one from the beginning because I think this is a really good one, and lots of really good information. And another thing, everybody on this panel, basically, except I think Adam's the only one that isn't making videos yet. Everybody here's got YouTube channels. Everybody's here has you can subscribe to them. You can go check out their videos. Everybody's active on the Facebook groups, and we've got Ronnie and Chad are both founders of the Reseller Society. You got to go check out that group if you aren't a part of it already. And if you want to find this show a little more easily and you're used to just finding these links from Facebook, go and subscribe or join my group, the Reseller Wakeup. I pin the current episode every morning on the top of my page so that it's really easy to find. It's right there. It doesn't get buried. We post the links in all the groups, but sometimes they can just get buried right away. Obviously, if you subscribe to this channel, it'll be easy to find that way as well. But we're here every morning, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We run about 2 hours, and this is episode 28. We've been going for over a month now. I think Thanksgiving is going to be the first day that we take off. I'm not going to be doing a show next week on Thanksgiving, and maybe, I don't know about Black Friday yet. It depends on if I decide to go out. We're going to be covering a lot more on Black Friday stuff over the next week and a half, just trying to keep up on the deals, trying to find out what's going to be really hot and what people are going to need to look out for. But for now, I don't know if I'm actually going to be outsourcing or if I'm going to be home to do the show. So definitely nothing on Thanksgiving though. But anyway.
Really quick.
Yeah.
No Toadcast this Friday.
No Toadcast. No.
No Toadcast. I don't know what you guys are gonna do, but
boo.
Yeah, got something to do.
I thought Adam did have his own video channel, but it was just under his other name, Love Gun.
Yeah, that's what he.
Dr. Love Guns.
I don't think he advertises it much in here.
Right. There's a show tonight, right? What's that show that's going on tonight? I forget the name of it. Chad. Chad.
What?
Apparently Chad does too.
What's going on tonight? I'll let you take it from here.
Do what?
I'm giving you a chance to pimp your show, man. Jesus. Okay, fine, I'll do it. Wednesday nights, the reseller meet and greet. Chad gets on there. He's always bringing resellers into the community, people that want to kind of introduce themselves, people that he finds that are putting out good content on YouTube or they've been really active in the groups, likes to introduce new resellers to everybody. So the reseller meet and greet tonight at 8 o'clock?
Central.
8 o'clock Central? Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what it is, all the others. Everybody knows I have a problem with these time zones, so it's 8 o'clock Central. You figure it out from there.
Yeah, exactly. So 9 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, you guys figure it out from there. But Ronnie will be on. You're gonna be on tonight, right, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's on that. And then who else is gonna be on the show tonight? Do you have anybody lined up?
By the way, it isn't just Chad. It's Ronnie's show. Yes.
Oh, that's Ronnie's show? What?
It's and Ronnie's show.
That's Chad and Ronnie. Okay.
Chad and Ronnie's show. Oh my God.
But Sean's been there since the beginning. There's several people that's been there since the beginning. It's our community show. It just happens to be on my channel.
Feel the love. Hakuna Matata. Or no, Kumbaya is what I meant to say.
Unless I'm pissed off. Then it's like...
Then it's definitely...
Oh, close this, mother, please.
I will shut this
Everybody's better
down.
start talking right now. No, but do you have anybody coming on tonight, Chad? That's anybody going to introduce everybody to, or who?
We need to get Danica on there. You know, people like seeing her. Everybody's welcome. It's really hard to go out. I mean, and you know, find people. It can be really hard because people are busy doing stuff like doing what we do. They're busy, and you know, Wednesday night is a church night, and it's just sometimes it can be really hard. So Danica can report on her No Shave November. Absolutely.
Well, that's one of the nice things about these hangouts. I mean, once the live hangout's over, you can just go back and watch the thing again. And I mean, it's not quite the same, but you know, you got the chat going on and everything while it's live. But I mean, you can still see all the content, and there's always good content that we cover. But then, so let's see, we got the show tonight. Do you know if tomorrow night the ladies are going to be doing their show?
Well, Stacy just had a death in her family, so I think that's kind of up in the air. You almost have to just kind of keep in group and see if she's up to it or not. So just be patient with her, folks. She'll come back, I'm sure.
Gotcha. And then no Toadcast Friday, and then Sunday we've got Pickers Church and the R Show. Our show is Sunday night. Does anybody know if he's got anybody coming on this weekend? Anybody
For the R Show?
Heard from him? Yeah, you're usually on.
Yeah, it's Dana Crawford, I think. Wait, let me get my list. I need a list now. Right, what is the 23rd, huh? Yeah, Dana Crawford is coming on. She's a big guru, eBay guru.
Was she on a few weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she's coming back. Gotcha.
She's good to have back, that's for sure.
Yeah, she's not somebody that you can just watch for or talk to for an hour and get everything that you're going to get out of her. She's
yeah, she does. She's got a lot of info. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's one I'd like to have on the show here sometime. But
contact her. She's
Alabama Pickers has a question, and I've seen that a lot also. Free shipping versus shipping charges. I've gotten into the habit of using free shipping since it used to affect Cassini and DSRs. I noticed no one here seems to use free shipping anymore. I've seen that trend go from free shipping to charging. I've always been a charge shipping, and I was very boisterous about it. And you know, but I think now with the the amount of returns and people accepting returns, they might be going to charging shipping because if they get a return back and you have to give the money, you're out that shipping. And it's like if it's even if they don't, if it's just the wrong size, it's nothing you did wrong, they ship it back, you have to return their money minus shipping. Well, guess what? You gave them free shipping, so you're out the money.
Actually, here's the problem with returns. Most of the buyers, like, I haven't fought this yet because I don't get that many returns. I probably get like one return a month. Very, very few. But the buyers are onto it. They know all they have to do is click item not as described, and eBay's just going to side with them. Go ahead, try and fight it. Try and
not every time.
And complain. What's that?
They won't side with them every time.
Man, I've never been able to get them to do anything but like, oh, sorry, we're supporting. Like, they just blow me off. It seems like anytime I ask them for help on anything. I mean, the worst part about eBay, the thing that really makes me mad about them is just how hardcore they take the customer side completely, and they just take the customer's word for it. And no matter what kind of evidence you can give them, it just seems like they're, unless you get the right person on the phone that day.
Well, that's the key.
It's just luck.
I've had 4 cases that were item not as described, and I've won 3 of them.
There you go.
All right. Well,
I think they're starting to kind of come around a little bit. There's been a lot because we talk to each other every day, and you're hearing a lot of success stories about fighting these not as described. And when I say fighting, you don't have to be an ass about it. You don't have to be like fighting the buyer. No, your way of fighting it is to contact eBay, and I have 2 negatives right now that I have no doubt if and when I call them, I just haven't done it. I have no doubt they'll be taken off because they're stupid. One of them is saying it took a month to get there, and it shows it was delivered within 3 days. I mean, that's one. You know, I mean, it's just, you can do it.
And again, just like Chad said, it's not fighting the buyer. You're calling eBay to present your side of the case. It's just think of it like a courtroom. It's not a mean-spirited thing. It's just presenting the facts on your defense.
And a lot of times they'll be like, oh, yeah, you're right. It's like, that's what it takes. It's like, well, you couldn't see that? No, it's because it's done like that. It's not a...
It's all automated.
Yeah, so...
I mean, back to the original question, I'll give you an example. Like, I had this calculator come back over the weekend, and the thing with charging for shipping, like, if they hit item as not as described, they get their original shipping back as well. So you pay the return shipping, plus you have to pay the customer their shipping back. So I'm starting to think that maybe I need to go back to free shipping, because what I used to do is I did free shipping, but I would build the shipping into the cost of the item. So like now, I'll sell an item for $20 plus shipping that I would have just charged $30 with free shipping for like 2 months ago when I was doing free shipping on all my items.
You took the best offer for 20.
No best offers. I was doing free shipping on everything with no best offers on anything, unless it was a really high dollar item. Like, you know, if I've got $10 in something and it's a $500 item, you know, I'll put a best offer on something like that. But for the most part, I don't accept best offers. And I originally did free shipping, and I was doing that for a long time and had really good luck with it. And I think it does still affect your Cassini search rating, but I'm not sure on that. It killed, honestly, man, when I went from free shipping to starting to charge for shipping, my sales took a pretty big dive. Like, they went way down. And, I mean, I was selling minimum 10 to 15 items a day, and I was doing about $6 grand a month gross. And in the last couple of months, since I started charging for shipping, I've gone down to like 5 or 6 items a day, maybe $4 grand gross a month.
Well, I think if you're going to make a drastic change like that, and trust me, going from charging shipping to free shipping, that's a very drastic change in your business plan when it comes to selling on eBay. Don't just check the results over a week or a month. If you're going to make that change, let it ride for 6 months before you make that change, because there's so many contributing factors, because a lot of people are saying November sales are slow, what's going on, and just like what you're saying right now, you're contributing it to possibly you changing your shipping option. But
could be just time of year.
Don't automatically assume that and go back. If you made the decision to change your business plan that drastically, and that is a big change, in my opinion. It's a big change because there's a lot of money wrapped up in charging for shipping and not when it comes to the bottom line. And go ahead.
Well, the other point that we're not really bringing up about the clothing and returns, and I want to get Ronnie's opinion on this one, restocking fee, a restocking charge. Does anybody charge for a restocking fee?
Go ahead, Ronnie.
I don't have a restocking fee. I've thought about it. Just because I bought something recently from somebody and they had a restocking fee, you know, and I did the right thing. I didn't ding them and say, oh, it didn't fit, blah, 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 you know, whatever, you know. But, you know, I didn't read it properly and didn't fit properly, and I didn't like it, so return it. It is what it is. But I think when you do a restocking fee, a lot of people, from what I know, always said that they get a lot more item not as described. A lot of people don't want to pay that restocking fee, or they don't want to pay for that return shipping also. So if they can get out of it, depends on, like, if it was me, and let's say, for instance, if I know my average returns are on the high dollar things, and if I did, like, let's just say a 10%, if they sold something for $300, they're going to return it. They're going to be out $30. Most likely, they're going to be hitting that damn item not as described button just to get out of that. Plus, they're going to have to pay for that shipping to come back. So I've thought about it. I didn't do it. I offer free shipping only on men's shirts and ties just because they're so light. Other than that, I changed about 4 months ago. No, 2 months ago when we moved into the warehouse. I changed all the jackets and sport coats and sweaters and jeans for the most part. I still sell some. I thought I switched it over to pay charge shipping, and every once in a while something to sell or say free shipping. It's like, whatever. I didn't change exactly everything. I thought I did, and stuff still sells. I still sell the jeans. I still sell all that stuff, and I charge shipping, and my sales have went up, and we're still getting that shipping income. So, you got to do what's right for you. Everything's going to work differently. That's the thing. What works well for me is not going to work well for Chad or work well for Paul or Sean, because we all sell different things in a little bit. We're all reaching different customers. So even though we all sell on the different same platform, it's going to different and vary between us all.
And that's excellent advice. I mean, and every time we talk about what we sell and if we're successful or if we're having a problem or something like that, it's always about, if you're listening to somebody give advice or give good sound, seems like basic information, it may not work for you only because you're just in a different situation. And like Callie could sit here and say, I offer free shipping on everything. It doesn't matter what it is, and blah, 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 blah. But yet he also might have a business account with UPS where he gets super discounted. I mean, there's just so many different things, and if he doesn't say that, that doesn't make him wrong. It's just, it won't work for me.
Yeah, well, it also depends on what you're selling. I think that's a big thing. Like, there are certain categories where you almost have to offer free shipping, or your search ranking will be so low that nobody's going to buy from you because everybody else is offering free shipping. For example, I'll give a quick example, Magic the Gathering cards. Like, I'm big into those, and I haven't gotten a decent collection recently, so that whole category's gone through the floor for me. But like, you pretty much have to offer free shipping because everybody just puts a stamp on them and sends them through the mail like that. And I mean, if you're not doing free shipping, then you can't sell the cheap ones. I mean,
how do you get by with your not issuing a tracking number?
Because it's free shipping and there's
You don't have to do a tracking number. You'll just lose your top-rated status if you do too many of those. And like me, whenever I ship Magic cards, I do it first class. I put it in a padded envelope, and I track them and all that. But I mean, I do free shipping on it because no matter what, it's $1.93, and I just work that into the shipping price. But every time I've ever tried to sell Magic cards with a shipping price, do not sell at all, unless it's like a $200 card where there's only 3 of them listed on eBay because it's so rare.
Yeah, and here's a big, I guess, a failure on my part that I can explain to people, and a lot of people here know. When they came out with this, I think it was August with that new DSR thing, and we were all trying to come up with things to help our DSR. I'm like, okay, I got a ton of stamps, and they were unused, and they were a lot of commemorative sets, just a whole bunch of them. And I'm like, okay, I need to get my feedback up to help offset, any defects and stuff like that. So I listed a ton of them and cheap, 99 cents. And then I realized, like, oh man, the cheapest I can charge is $1.93. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? So, I mean, that was a total failure. So it was a failure. But I kept them up, and I put the $1.93 on there. I wasn't going to do free shipping because I wasn't going to, to me it was just doing this. You're helping one thing and killing something else, and it just was no.
That's I put up a bunch of wood nickels, and I didn't even think about it. Some guy came in and bought like 15 out of the 20 I put up. I'm like, well, that kind of was pointless.
Yeah.
So I did all that work and made a couple bucks or something.
Yeah.
By the end, but yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like video games is another thing. DVDs. A lot of people do like a flat calculated or a flat rate charge, like $1.50 or $2.99 or whatever. And that's one of the other things that I wanted to kind of touch on. How much do you guys think about your shipping? How much do you play around with your shipping? I was watching the Scavenger Life, their video this morning. They just posted yesterday, and that's one of the podcasts that it's like every morning. If there's I'll listen to that one before the show comes on, because I'm up at like 3 in the morning. I mean, I'm on the computer 2 hours before I even start the hangout. But they were talking about this painting or something that they had sold, where it ended up costing. They got $30 or the customer paid them like $30 to ship it, and when they went to pack it up and they finished getting it ready and they took it to FedEx, it was like $40 or $36 or something like that. And so they still got $30 of the shipping paid to them, but like $6 had to come out of their pocket. Now, I was thinking about something like that with some of these items that I would usually do free shipping on. And maybe you charge 99-cent shipping, so at least you're still getting you're splitting it 50-50 with your customer. And then you do like 25 cents per each additional item or something like that for like the small stuff. Or, if I'm doing shirts, or jackets, you do $4.99 shipping just so it looks like you're charging a little less shipping than everybody else who are doing calculated or who have and then, you put it in a flat rate envelope. It only costs you $5, like $5.30 or $5.65 or whatever it is. But some of it's coming out of your pocket, but it just makes your shipping look a little cheaper. Does anybody ever try stuff like that just to play around? And
Well, I think people generally expect to pay shipping. I don't think people have a problem with paying shipping charges. It's everywhere. I think eBay's probably. I mean, you can go to Amazon. You're going to pay $100 a year to get your stuff shipped free through Prime. But generally, people expect to pay shipping. They don't have a problem paying shipping. Where they have a problem is these stupid $14.99 to ship a T-shirt. That's what pisses them off.
Yeah.
And I make money on literally everything I sell as far as shipping is concerned. All like a button-up shirt, $5.99 to ship, and people buy them, and it costs $2.93 maybe. And that's when people ask, well, what about your shipping costs? Somebody said the other day they had a projector, and they were like, oh, it's going to be so expensive to ship. It's like, don't worry about that, because your customer's going to pay for that. You can't worry about that, because I know what they're doing. They're thinking, I offer free shipping, and it's going to be so expensive to ship. And then it's going to really cut out on but if you look at, let's say, projectors, go to completed listings on a particular K108 Keystone projector, okay, you're going to see them selling for $75 free shipping, okay, then you're going to see them sell for $40 with $30 shipping. So it typically is all pretty much in this range. People are buying it with free shipping. People are buying it paying $30 shipping. People are buying,
they're paying the same amount whether they're paying for shipping or not. At the end of the day, they're going to be either they're paying $30 with $30 shipping, or they're paying $60 with free shipping.
And where you can, if you charge shipping, and this is what I kind of do, I'm that person, because I get it so cheap, I can come in and put it for $20 with $30 shipping, and these people are getting it for $50 cheaper than the guys doing it for free shipping and charging for shipping. And I'm walking away quick with my $30 profit or $20 profit or whatever. And you see, and that's how you can really beat the competitive be the competitive person in your pricing and still charge for shipping, because even though you're charging for shipping, you're still cheaper than, you know, everybody else. So that doesn't work for like Ronnie, because that's not the way Ronnie's set up. He's set up to to be up there and charge his shipping. It's just a totally different business plan. So
Yeah, well, you have to build up to the point where people come to you and they're willing to pay top dollar all day, every day, and keep coming back and buy multiple items from you at top dollar. You have to build that trust, and you also have to be in the right kind of category. It's like the high-end men's clothing. You know, somebody who knows that if they want to buy this shirt, they can either buy it from Ronnie for $100, or they can go to Nordstrom's and pay $350 for it. You know,
yeah.
or they
Did
can buy it.
anybody ask Ronnie what his return customer rate is? I mean, I bet it's probably not as high as what people think.
We talked about it. He said
He
it's
said
like
he had
3%.
like 9 last month or something.
He said he's around 3%.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but those are returning customers. You always want those. And over years, just like you start a dry cleaner, you know, it's going to take a while before you get those return customers, because you offer good service. And after 20 years, then you're set. That's when you can pass that on to your kids, a turnkey business. You know what I mean? I mean, that takes time, and you have to offer really good service for return customers. And plus, you have to be in a niche. You know, somebody like me who does sell clothes and everything else under the sun, people don't want to come back and look at my store, because it's like, he doesn't have any Gucci. I bought a Gucci off of him, and he doesn't have any Gucci. But Ronnie, there's a good chance that he will continue to get the Gucci, because that's what he specializes in. So, yeah.
And that's part of building a brand and turning your store more into a brand than just a random store. Like right now, my business plan, it's totally run like a yard sale, basically. You know, I sell a little bit of everything. I don't care what it is. I'm not trying to build a brand right now. I'm just trying, but I am interested in doing that in the future. I really do want to open up another store and build that up as kind of my high-end clothing store, something similar to Ronnie's, and just keep my store that I'm running now strictly just what I've been selling, you know, electronics and video games and DVDs and just like random stuff, you know, just like computer parts and appliance parts and just the stuff that you can find all day for like what you're saying. You pay $5 for it and you break it down or you flip it or whatever for 20 or 30 bucks and get your money back and get it blown out fast. I mean, I've got a real problem with trying to get top dollar for everything, even though I tell myself I'm not going to try. I'm just going to go and blow this out. I'm going to sell it. I paid $2 for it. I can afford to get 20, even though I could sell it for 40. And then when I go to list it, it's like, man, I could get 40 for that. So I put $40 up.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Also, like my store, my biggest store category is other. And that's how you can improve your store, really. You need to go in there and put some time in it. I mean, I have men's clothing, women's clothing, vintage electronics, 8mm movies and stuff like that, and then other. It's like my other store is like 98%. It's just
let me ask you this. Here's the devil's advocate side to that. If you have a store that has one niche product, you know, and you get those return customers, aren't you limiting yourself of who will come to your store? You know, if you have one like yours, and I'm the same way. I have multiple categories. It's out all over the place. I've got multiple people with different wants coming into the store and looking at the other items. Whereas this other account I have, where it's just costume jewelry. Yep. The costume jewelry people are only going to that site, and that's all they're looking for. I'm getting more people going to this other one with other things.
Well, Ronnie, we had talked about this not too long ago. You know, he is clothing, and we talked, well, what if it gets so saturated? Go ahead, Ronnie. He started buying other stuff. You know, he wants to diversify, and go ahead, Ronnie.
I know a lot about other things to succeed at other things. I mean, it's whatever you can find in your area. I mean, if I had to, I can go and visit just sales or to even do other things. I could even switch out and because I got the money to do it. Even go to selling and buying, selling cars if I had to, and just change my whole model and everything. I mean, I just don't plan on working for anybody else again, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And I'll do whatever needs to be done to be that way. I mean, I would, if I could sell on Amazon, I would, you know. But I have my issues with Amazon, and it is what it is. But
Ronnie, have you thought about going with an LLC to get back into Amazon?
Don't even, Ronnie. Don't even, man. Don't even.
It's been done.
Yeah.
It did not work.
Nothing against you, Kelly. It's just, it's total bullshit, dude. It's
I know.
messed up.
I'm dealing with a couple other friends that have been kicked out of Amazon, and one's going to be opening up a new LLC in January. Get back into it, but yeah, it is what it
I
is.
bet
you
they
know, Ronnie,
probably
you're-
have one hell of a
you're-
private investigator working for them. In other words, they can figure anything out whenever they need to. You can't get by them.
Yeah.
Ronnie, you're more than welcome to list whatever you want on my Amazon account. As much as you want.
And I
Works
think
for
I
me.
heard somewhere it doesn't cost much to get a nice, clean Social Security number for a new account.
Just saying.
I've heard
Yeah,
that.
but you better not live within 5 blocks of your last address. You better not have 2 digits of your old phone number. I mean, they're good. They're good.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear about Amazon is getting too big into it and just making one little mistake where they just take it all away. I mean, you can screw up on eBay big time and they'll still let you sell there. On Amazon, though, it seems like you can be doing great. You can be a great seller, but then you make a mistake that is just they really don't like, and boom, you're gone. You're done, and they will not let you sell there again. And if you try and they track you down, then they'll just shut you down again. And they're always on the lookout for people that are trying to do that stuff. So,
And Chris had a good question. So for us, for those of us that are new, what should we avoid doing to make sure we don't get kicked off?
sell counterfeit DVD.
Know the rules.
Know the rules, yeah. Pay attention
Be as
to what
honest as you can be.
Do your homework.
Undersell and over-deliver.
Do not commingle. That'll help.
Yeah, don't commingle. And
That's
I
like
think
the number
commingling is
one, unless you're selling
automatic now.
toilet paper.
When I set my when I originally set my FBA account up, commingling was automatically enabled. I had to go back and turn it off. And I've still got a couple of items in Amazon that are commingled, but the way that it's set up, I would have to have it sent back to me and then send it back to them again to get it uncommingled. So I'm just
Well, because it's so easy for Amazon to deal with the commingle. It's like, goes in that bucket, you know. Hole one, whose turn is it? Okay, yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. Like the items that I do have commingled right now are very rare and very like they didn't even have any other listings up, so mine is the only one that's new in Amazon, and it still is. I mean, I'm paying attention to those items, but so I'm not too concerned. But yeah, if you're commingling, then it can get you in deep trouble. And if you are the one that Amazon blames for somebody else's problem, you're not going to be able to get them to change their mind. There's nothing you can do.
And people ask, well, what kind of things can you commingle? It's like, you know, say you get these packs of pencils, you know, or you get notebooks, you know, or filler paper, you know, stuff like that, that it's chances of counterfeit. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. You know, solo cups, you know, stuff like that, probably it's no big deal to have commingled. But if you're like video games, movies, DVDs, anything that can be pirated or toys or anything, you're setting yourself up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right? I mean, the stuff like paper, pencils, stuff like that, it's really not a big deal.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with doing that. You can't go back and forth. You can't decide to commingle this and commingle that, and then not commingle this and not commingle that. When you do a shipment, either everything on that shipment that can be commingled is commingled, or it's not. So it's easier just to print out the labels and keep it on your own inventory. It doesn't cost you anything else. Commingling costs you nothing, but not commingling costs you nothing. So it's easier and less hassle, less paperwork to just don't
Well,
commingle.
the not commingling seems to cost you the penny a month thing, all that crap, which still isn't much, but
Yeah, I mean, a
The
penny
other
a
thing
month
that
for
Paul
storage.
mentioned was undergrading your items. When you first started on Amazon, if you have this widget and you look at it and you say, this is very good, you label it as good until you are completely comfortable with that type of products. Undergrade your item.
Yeah, and also when you're doing like video games and stuff, you'll find. Okay, so say like I wanted to send in this video game. I've got this Nintendo 64 game. As you can see, very clean. You look at the label, it's nice, it's bright, you can see it perfect. You know, the back security label's all good, no rips, stains, tears, nothing. I would sell this as acceptable all day because there's no box, there's no manual, it doesn't come with anything. It's just the cartridge. I mean, I just put them up as acceptable because if you look on, it's hard to find the way that Amazon grading system works and what their guidelines are. But if you get on eBay, look at their guidelines and they're the same. You know, you've got good, or you got acceptable, good, very good, like new, new. And if you look at the acceptable, or if you look at very good, it says it comes with the original box. It comes with the original manual. The disc is in good shape, blah, blah, blah. If it's in good, then it's like it comes with the original box, but the box is beat up. It comes with the original manual, but the manual is beat up. And then if you look at acceptable, it's like it may be missing the instructions, it may be missing the manual, it may be missing the box. So always do stuff like that as acceptable. Don't get caught in that trap where you're, oh wow, this thing looks brand new. I'm going to put it up as like new. And also in the description, always put exactly what you're selling. You know, try and get pictures of stuff if you can. Like this, I wouldn't bother taking a picture of this because people know exactly what it is. The stock photo's fine, but I would say cartridge only, no manual, no box, no nothing. And like when I'm doing the description, I put the defects first. I don't try and say this is nice, this is nice, this is nice, but I started out like cartridge only. There's no box, there's no manual, there's nothing. The cartridge works great. I cleaned it, tested it, blah, blah, blah. Like, start with the bad stuff, give them that information first, and then work into the good part about it, like why they should be buying it. And that way you just, that's just what we mean by underselling and over delivering. Because then when they get the item, they know exactly what they're getting. They're surprised. They're happy with what they got. So.
Okay, I know I'm just actually getting into this. Like, I just got back in here. The way I look at it, you guys say.
Where'd he go? He gets up in the middle of talking.
Well, I was just grabbing. Say you got just a original NES game, right?
Yeah.
What's the percent that will actually have a box still? Because there wasn't too many collectors back when these video games were coming out, so not many people kept the box.
But that's why you get more money with the box.
Yeah, that's why the game's $10 with no box, and why it's $40 with the box and manual.
Exactly.
Whereas, so how I look at it is, like new will be anything with a box, anything that's complete, but from there under, I'd grade the card from anywhere from acceptable to very good. Like, when I put this through to FBA, I'll end up putting this as very, very good.
Yeah, I'll do whatever you want, but I mean, if you look at the descriptions a lot of times, it doesn't matter. The condition isn't going to affect the buy box on something like that as much because it's almost impossible to find new ones, right? They're almost always going to be used ones that are competing with each other. And it doesn't matter what the grade is. You can charge whatever you want for it. I'm not saying that I price my stuff down. I just say that I grade it lower and then just describe it as well as I can and as much as possible. Because when somebody's looking for like an old video game, they actually are smart enough to be able to figure out that they can search all the used offers and find a better deal than what's in the buy box, they're going to look at all the descriptions, and that's when having a picture kind of helps sometimes, I guess, just because it makes your listing stand out more. And a collector is going to be able to have something. Most people that are looking for these games, they're just looking for the game to play. You know, they're going to look for the best price. And I mean, if it's a collector's item, you know, then that's because it's got the box and it's got the manual. Then it becomes a collector's item. Now I can look under collectible. Now I can start to grade it up and actually pay attention to that stuff. But I mean, for the most part, cartridge-only games, acceptable all day. I'm not even gonna look at. I'm not even gonna try to grade that stuff. I'm just gonna put it up as acceptable so that I don't get in trouble with Amazon. But I don't
That
know.
when people get it too, they'll be like, "What? Oh, this is much better than acceptable." You know,
Exactly.
sometimes, not every time, of course, but yeah.
I just don't think that it affects the sale. I don't think that that grading affects the sale as much as being honest and saying that you get the guys that just start getting dinged with negative feedback all day because it wasn't what the person expected. They didn't get what they wanted. You know, I mean, it's important to make sure that you manage a customer's expectations as much as possible. But
Yeah.
you know, like only if okay, let's say you had a DVD. You know, like I'm trying to sell this video game, and the disc is perfect, totally flawless, but it's just the disc. That's all I have. How would you sell that, Adam? What would you put? What would you grade that as?
Grade what as?
If I had this video game, just the disc only, but the disc was flawless. There were no, like I ran through my buffer and it looks brand new when it's done.
If it was disc only and had nothing else, I would put those as acceptable.
So what's the difference between a game with a disc and a game with a cartridge?
I just do it that way. I do anything disc only, even DVDs, as acceptable. I've always done it that way. It's just different than a cartridge game, in my opinion.
Yeah, see, to me, it's all the same. It's the exact same thing. So, I mean, I don't know why somebody would sell a disc all day, every day as acceptable, and then take the cartridge and think that they could, that it's okay to put that up as a different grade. I mean, I see it a lot on Amazon. Don't get me wrong. You're not the only one doing it. Seems like a lot of people do that, and they have that in their head. But I think that a lot of video game buyers are more educated, and they know what to look for, so the grading doesn't matter as much unless you have the box and everything. So just for the sake of staying in good standing with Amazon, it's acceptable if it doesn't come with everything. If it doesn't have the original packaging, it's acceptable, whether it's a cartridge or a disc or anything. You know, if it's a Yahtzee game, like a little handheld electronics game, or like if I was to sell this on Amazon, I would sell this as acceptable because it doesn't have the original box, it doesn't have the original packaging, even though it works perfectly. I would put all that in the description and try to take a picture of it or something, and it would still be acceptable though. Same thing with VCRs when I put those up.
But you gotta remember, they either came in the box and it was thrown away, or it came in a plastic thing that you gotta literally cut open. So you damage the box either way. So that's when you grade the product that you're selling.
Well, the same thing with the cartridge games, though. Most people threw the boxes and stuff away.
That's exactly what I'm saying, and that's even the collectors know that.
Now,
if you had a board game, if you had a Monopoly game that was shrink wrapped, I mean brand new, and the shrink wrap was cut open, how would you list that?
Reshrink it.
If it's just a tiny little tear, I'd still do it as new. But if it was flat out all like a third of it off, I wouldn't even pick it up.
Okay, so here's an example. I picked up this Monopoly game not too long ago. There's no wrapping on it, no cellophane. But when you get it open, everything inside is individually wrapped. None of the bags are open. Everything is brand new inside.
I would list that as used.
Okay.
I would
You can't-
re-shrink it and list it as new.
Yeah.
So would I.
Depending on if it has any shelfware or what have you.
No, this thing is mint, man. The
Yeah,
box,
the corners can't have any kind of shelfware whatsoever. You know, as long
wood.
as the box is perfect, re-shrink it and list it as new.
Yeah, the box is wood.
Now, this is my own personal thing, but when I see that and I start asking my question, this is brand new. I always ask myself, do I know that it's new or do I know that it's used?
Right. Yeah, you got to ask yourself that, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Like Amazon grading's kind of wonky and crazy, but you got to protect your account, and if you want to keep selling there. Now, let me ask you this: when you're selling these cartridges, do you sell them as used or do you sell them as collectible?
The cartridges,
Yeah.
I sell them as used.
Well,
Okay.
you gotta ask yourself, are they collectible or are they used?
If they don't have the box, they're not collectible. I was just making sure that you're not putting them up in the collectible category without a box, because I mean, for sure you have to have the box and manual and everything, or else you have to sell it as acceptable.
I rarely do anything with the collectible area of Amazon, unless it's like toys.
Right.
And Chris had a comment. Said also keep in mind who is buying the items. Yeah, who will be buying those items? If you list it as collectibles, it's going to be collectibles. It's collecting collectors, and they're going to be very, very finicky about damages and everything else.
Yeah. Now, okay, so he's mentioning industrial items and like contracting items type stuff. The kind of thing that when you buy it brand new, it's just going to come in a little plastic bag with a item number on it or something like that, and it already looks beat to hell when you're buying it. That kind of stuff I could definitely see as being able to. I mean, if you that goes back to, do you know it's new? If you know it's new, then whoever's buying it, whoever's interested in an item like that is probably going to know whether or not it's new as well. So they're less worried about the packaging. I mean, stuff like that. They want the item so that they can rip it out of the packaging and use it to build their stuff or whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? So it depends on the category for sure. When you're looking at books, that's one thing. I mean, you got to grade those differently than you would grade a video game, or you have to grade a comic book even differently than you would grade a regular book. And I've looked into that. A lot of people sell comic books on eBay or on Amazon, and I thought about doing it, but I haven't gotten that far yet.
I think Amazon should be a theme for a whole show one day.
What's that?
I think the Amazon and the grading system could be a theme for a whole show.
Oh yeah. Well, we got pretty deep into it before, and I mean, this is about as much as I know. Maybe I'll go do some research and actually try to find their actual standards. It's hard to find their standards though. I mean, they don't put it anywhere. I mean, does anybody know where to find what they mean when they say acceptable versus good versus very good? I'm gonna have to look into that and find out for sure instead of just hearsay. Like I said, I base my grading system off of eBay's, because eBay's is very in depth and very specific. So it's a lot easier to grade stuff off of eBay's system than it is with Amazon, where it's just like, I don't know.
It's on Seller Central.
What's that?
It's on Seller Central.
Oh, is it? Yeah. I'll look at it, and then once I look it over, then we'll do a show on it for sure. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow a little bit more. But
yeah, I just wanted to point out that I showed a $70 game on your show today. Just an FYI.
Okay.
This game's worth $70.
On FBA or?
Nah, merchant fulfilled Amazon.
Huh.
It's Kickmaster.
Never heard of it, but some of those really obscure games. I mean, do you know how many games were released on the NES?
Over 200. I know that much. I think it was 281.
Yeah, I think it was more than that, but it's a lot of games to remember. But really, there are a couple of really obscure ones though that, I mean, the reason they're worth so much isn't because they're good games, but because they're super rare. And I
You
don't.
can
Look at ET for the Atari, man.
What's that?
Look at ET for the Atari.
Oh, I don't
They
even
went and
look
dug
at
that
Atari.
stuff up, so they.
I don't even look at Atari games. Atari is horrible.
Why is it? That's like considered the worst game ever.
Because there are some
I mean,
very
people
expensive
don't love
Atari
that.
games.
I know there
Yeah.
are.
Okay.
There are like over 800 games, I think, released for the Atari, and maybe 20 of them, if that, are worth more, are even worth looking at, like looking up. You can go through a stack of 100 Atari games, and dude, seriously, you can go through a stack of 100 Atari games and not find anything worth more than $1. If you want to sit there
That's
and
true, but you also got to remember, same with records. But guess what? One of those might just be worth over $30,000. It does happen, so don't just brush it off. Don't just walk past those Atari games.
I'm gonna
Don't
go
just.
ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and
Look at Ronnie.
say it and just put it out there. I don't
No,
think
I mean what I'm saying is that home run, that once in a lifetime score, isn't going to be sitting there all pretty on the shelf saying, buy me, buy me, buy me. It's going to be probably mixed in with something, or that's how those come about.
Atari games. There are no $30,000 Atari cartridges. I mean, I'm talking about like when I find a big box of Atari games, it's a box of cartridges. Now, if I see anything with the box and the original manuals, yeah, I will go through every single one of those, man. But
Dude, what I'm saying is the exact same thing. You go to a garage sale and see this big, huge box of records. You look at it, you see some Lawrence Welk. You're like, nah. No, you sit there and you flip. You just go through them because that's where the mega home runs are found. That's where the rare, one-of-a-kind records are found. Just like in this big box of Atari games, there's 200 of them in there. You go through them, and guess what? That's probably where you'll find a prototype Atari game. That's how that's how they end up. People get it, don't know how, and they put it in their collection with their cheap ass Frogger game. They don't know what it is.
Hey,
And
Frogger
that's
was
how it gets uncovered. It's that way. I know I sound kind of passionate about it, but that's how these mega scores are found. They're not sitting in an antique shop, with a buy me price tag on it. That's not the way these super rare, hard things that you never find are found. They're found in with all this other shit.
And like Chris said just in the chat, they're buried in a dump.
Yeah, the ET games.
That city got 37 grand for those.
yeah, the ET game.
Yeah.
No, here's the trick to finding. Like I was saying, there are only a few games, especially when it comes to video games, there are only a few of them that are worth a lot of money. So it's easy to go out there and figure out what they are. You can go to pricecharting.com, look up a specific system, sort by price, and the top 10 are going to be worth like 5 or 10 grand or whatever. Just remember those names. And then if you want, you can remember the next 20 or so that are worth 10 or 20 bucks a piece, and then forget about all the rest of them that are worth like $1.
But just because you don't recognize it doesn't mean it couldn't be a super home run also. I mean, it's just almost, there's so many different levels the way you can look at things, it's if I go through Atari games and there's one I don't know, or because I'm not really experienced in it, it's just adding that data, and I don't know.
It's almost like a Beatles record.
I don't know. It's tough, man. To try to get your point across.
Yeah, it's the whole thing, research.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Condition is
Morning,
everything
Jeff.
to you, but
Morning, Chad.
anyway, guys, it's getting pretty late. Time to wrap this up. I want to thank Ronnie for coming on, man. Appreciate it. I think he gave out awesome information, a lot of stuff that I hadn't heard before. So hopefully everybody got a lot of good info from that. Reseller Society, that's Chad and Ronnie's group. Got a couple of the tier 2 guys on the panel as well.
Forgive us, Lobies. Yep.
Go check out the Reseller Society on Facebook if you haven't already. Join that group. They got a lot of great information. These guys, a lot of experts there that'll answer your questions right away. If you're on Facebook a lot and that's kind of how you find these shows, then go join my group, the Reseller Wakeup. It's the easiest way to get on or to click the show every morning. If you want to be on the show, we open this up after we go off the air. You can find and come talk to us, check us out. Maybe we can get you on sometime. And like, comment, subscribe. After the video goes offline, I'm going to put all the links up in the description down there. So come back and check it out. And if you have any questions, anything you want to ask about on the show, questions for us, things that you want to know about, things that you want us to research so that we can talk about, please come back after the show goes offline and leave your comment in the comment section, and we will get to it as soon as possible. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate the hell out of you. We'll talk to you later.